Hello, my name is Diane, and today I'm going to go through my TBR and really purge a lot of things that are on it. If you don't know, TBR stands for To Be Read. It's all of the books I, at some point in time, have been interested in reading, was planning to read. And when I was putting together my September TBR, the way I do my monthly TBRs is I look at my general TBR and just pick things off of it that I would like to prioritize for the coming month. When I was putting together my September TBR, I realized there are a lot of things on my general TBR that I've just lost interest in. They're either genres or subgenres that I just don't think I click with very much right now, or just reading through the synopsis, it just doesn't really pique my interest like maybe it did when I first heard about it. A lot of the books on my TBR right now are new releases that I've talked about that I did think were interesting when I talked about them. I don't mention new releases that I don't think sound like they would be good, but in hindsight, I realize some of these maybe aren't going to be good for me specifically. So I think it's time to go through and be really honest with myself about, am I actually interested in reading this, or do I just think it might be good for someone else, but maybe not for me? So I'm going to go through everything that's on my TBR. I'm going to be kind of brutal about this. I really don't want to keep anything that I'm not genuinely excited about in this moment. Maybe this will change again in the future. Probably it will. But for right now, I really want to just have a smaller collection of books that I'm really excited to get to, instead of just a bunch of books that I was excited about at one time, but I'm not anymore. So let's get started. First off, I have Malice by John Gwynne. This I am definitely still interested in. I don't know too much about the plot of it, but what I've heard about it sounds like it would be up my alley. I'm mostly interested in like epic fantasy. That seems to be what clicks for me the most, of course with exceptions, but this seems like it'll fit in the realm of what I'm currently really excited about. Next is Star Eater by Kirsten Hall. What is this? I don't remember what a lot of these are specifically. Also, I'm looking at the synopsis of this and it doesn't sound interesting to me at all right now. I don't even remember when this ended up on my TBR. It came out in 2021. And I don't think this is for me. So we're gonna get rid of that. Next I have Godstone by Violet Malin. This is an epic fantasy about a magical healer. Something about a dangerous artifact. That sounds interesting. That's literally all I know about it, but that's enough for me to at least give it a chance. Then I have Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. This is a young adult fantasy romance about a girl who lies about a prophecy, awakens a curse, falls in love with some guy. I'm not gonna read that. Young adult fantasy romance doesn't really do anything for me. I'm not that into romance, and young adult has been not really something I connect with. I'm just too old for it, I guess. So I don't think I'm gonna read that. Empire of Exiles by Erin M. Evans. That I started last month and I'm planning to finish it this month, so that can stay. To Each This World by Julie E. Cernita. Standalone science fiction following 3 humans caught up in conflict that stretches across time and space. It's about humans working with aliens to try and recover long-lost sleeper ships that were sent to settle new worlds. I'll keep that. That could be interesting. It could not. Since it's a standalone, It sounds like it might be a little more suspenseful. With sci-fi, I typically like more like thriller suspense style. I'd at least give it a shot. Phaedra by Laura Shepperson. This is a debut, which I really like reading debuts. But I don't really like myth retellings. I like fairy tale retellings a lot. I don't really tend to like Greek mythology. So I'm gonna get rid of that. The Keeper's Six by Kate Elliott. This is about a mom who gets the band back together to rescue her kid. I'll still read that. That still sounds interesting. Barrow of Winter by H.M. Long. This is the third book. Some of these books, when they're first announced, at least where I see them, doesn't mention anything about them being part of a series. And when I look them up, I'm usually hearing about them before they come out, so there isn't always that much information about them. Sometimes even on the publisher website, it doesn't say that they're in a series. This is the third book in a series. I've heard that you can read it without reading the rest of the series. I'm probably not going to, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. The Phantom Scientist by Robin Cousin is a graphic novel about researchers that keep disappearing. I'm still interested in this, but I don't know when I'll get around to it because most of my books I get from the library, and my library doesn't have that one. And I don't know if they ever will. So I'm going to keep that on there, but I have no idea when I might get to that. But I'm still interested in it. The Great Big Demon Hunting Agency by Peter Oxley. This is set in London in the 1800s. It sounds like it'd be a fun fantasy, but I don't know that I would like it. Fantasies set in cities, especially in real world cities, are extremely hit or miss for me. They either really work or they really don't. So I'm probably just not gonna read that. We Come with Vengeance by H.G. Merrily. This is about a war. It seems kind of steampunky, which sometimes is fun, but it's not really a selling point for me. This is another one that seems kind of historical city type setting. Do like stories about revolution type groups, but I'm probably not gonna read that. Paradise 1 is a horror sci-fi. It's really long, which is kind of odd. It's almost 700 pages, which seems really long for a sci-fi horror book. But I'm still interested in it. I still want to read that. The Basilisk Throne by Greg Keyes. I don't remember anything about this. It's about a people who have conquered and enslaved everybody. Court politics, revolutions. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. The Cleaving by Juliet E. McKenna. This is an Arthurian retelling. This follows Nimue, Igraine, Morgana, and Guinevere. I'm still gonna read that. I like Arthurian retellings. That's pretty much that. I like Arthurian retellings, so I'm at least gonna try it. Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. I put on my September TBR. I don't know that I'm gonna like it, to be quite honest. I may not finish it, but I'm gonna try it. It's about a dragon who is the last male dragon. He comes through the veil. He has to work with, or at least manipulate, a human thief. I'm at least gonna give it a shot, but I'm not holding out hope that I'm gonna love it. The Blighted Stars by Megan E. O'Keefe. This is The first book in a space opera. I tend to not like space operas. It's about a revolutionary disguised as an heir's bodyguard. It kind of sounds like it could be interesting. It kind of sounds like it could just be a really long-winded, predictable romance. I'll try it. I'm on the fence about it. I'll leave it. Battery Life by Brendan Gilpatrick and Gregory Lang. This is a sci-fi. It sounds like it might be kind of goofy. About someone who lands on a planet and a scavenger, and they have to work together because it benefits each of them individually. I like stories like that. I'll at least try that. Hammer of Fate by G.N. Gudgeon. I don't know what this is. I'll leave that. That sounds interesting. Blade of Dream by Daniel Abraham. This is another one I didn't realize was a sequel when I first found it. Daniel Abraham is one half of S.A. Corey, the combined author of The Expanse. I really didn't like The Expanse. I DNF'd the first book like halfway through it. But I wanted to try each of the authors individually. This probably isn't the best place to start since it's a sequel. I also just don't know if I want to read this series where Daniel Abraham has other books he's written by himself. And I have heard good things about his books, but I've also heard a lot of good things about The Expanse. People love that series, and I didn't. I'm not going to read this. I'll probably read Daniel Abraham eventually, but not Blade of Dream. Emergent Properties by Amy Ogden is a sci-fi. It's been compared to Murderbot. I don't know how true that would be. It's about an AI main character, which is really weird. I'm probably going to read it just because I want to see how an AI main character can be. Wild Spaces by S.L. Coney. This is a horror book. It sounds weird. It's also really short, which makes it more appealing. But I don't think I want to read it anymore. So I'm not going to. The Mystery of Dunvegan Castle is the third book in the Edinburgh Nights trilogy series. I actually don't know how long it's supposed to be, and I'm gonna read it because I like that series. The Phoenix King by Aparna Verma is an epic fantasy. This is very new. About a kingdom in a desert, the heir to the throne, and an assassin shows up. This sounds interesting. I don't know. I like assassins. Assassins and secrets. Yeah, I'll read that eventually. War Pieces Lost by Valerie Valdez. I think this might also be a space opera. It is. I don't know, it's about someone who's living as a refugee, but they're actually in hiding. I'm not gonna read it. I'm just not. I just don't think I want to. And that's all the reason I need. And then new releases for September. The Library of Shadows, The Hexologist, and The Navigating Fox. I'm gonna leave because I just put those on. I may change my mind in a few months, but for now, they're very new to me, so I still have interest. It's been like 2 weeks since I added them onto this. And then Before We Say Goodbye comes out in November. and that's the 4th book in Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I'm still interested in that. And then other than that, I just have the series I'm currently reading, the Two Dragon Tapestry. I read the first 2 Two Dragon Society books from my library, and they don't have the 3rd one. So I'm just gonna wait until they get it, if they ever get it. Hopefully they do. But I'm not gonna buy the 3rd book. I could buy the whole series, but I'm not going to. Odd Interlude is on my TBR for this month, and that's going to decide if I want to finish the Odd Thomas series, which are the next few books on here. Speaker for the Dead is the sequel to Ender's Game, which I really liked, so most of these are following this are Ender's Saga and Ender's Shadow books, which are 2 very closely related series that overlap at certain points. I'm planning to read all of it, but we'll see how things progress with the sequels, if they are just as good as Ender's Game, which I really liked, or if I lose interest as things go, because there are quite a few books here. Ship of Magic is also on my TBR for this month with the live ship traders, and then assuming I don't lose interest in Realm of the Elderlings, the rest of these are Realm of the Elderlings series, which is a series of series, all set in one world and related to one another. And the plan is to still read those, but we'll see as we go, because there are quite a few books. And that is pretty much my whole TBR. With everything ever. I have my owned books, which I'm not going to go through because I still own them, and I'm not going to get rid of them until I've read them, or at least tried to read them. But this is everything on my non-physical TBR that I'm hopefully going to read. Try to read. At least give each of them a chance. So that's my whole TBR. I feel better looking at what's on here now, where I know I'm at least somewhat interested, intrigued in each of these books now. It's not some things that I'm like, I don't know if I really want to read that, and some things that I'm actually really excited about. All of these I'm excited about, or at least intrigued by. But it felt like a good amount. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with having this bunch of things to choose from. I'm probably going to get rid of things again in the future as I go, of course. I'm definitely going to be adding things to this. So that's my whole TBR. Let me know if I got rid of anything that you really liked, if I kept anything that maybe you don't think is really worth my time. That's all for me today. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time.